All right, a few stocks on watch for Tuesday. Not in love with any really overnight charts right now. I mean, I go look at a bunch of daily charts and I'm just not in love with any of the SPYs acting, kind of bizarre. I'll get back to DGX in just a second, but the SPY, nice trend line that if it gets down below 180 and you're starting to think it's the end of the world, keep this trend line in mind. It's very clean. So if we do start to sell off, don't dive all in short, because right below 180 or right around 180, 179 is a very solid trend line. So keep your eyes on that if we do sell off anymore, and we may have put in a short-term bottom today. I don't know. I'm not good at predicting that kind of stuff. But having said that, as the SPY was selling off pretty hard this afternoon before the end-of-day snapback, DGX had great relative strength. All right, this one really held up well. You kind of have if you squint, you can kind of see an inverse head and shoulders. So keep your eyes on this one. Again, I'll only take this long with a low risk intraday setup, and if the market itself is in my favor. ECYT. This was in, I think this was in last night's video, and I said I think it's got more to fall, but it's starting to become interesting. Okay, remember this thing gapped up and hit almost 34. Who knows if the biotech industry as a whole getting slammed, it's just taking this one down, or the story's not valid anymore. I'm just a chart guy, but after 3 days down in a row, this one is getting interesting to me. So it's getting close to the 50-day. You can't see that on here, but it's getting close to the 50-day. So now ECTY is more interesting to me, a lot more interesting than it was coming into today for a bounce. So that one's on watch. TJX. Nice bounce right above the 200-day back in early February, and now you've got a sell-off down to the 200-day again, and it's holding up pretty well. Okay, it didn't break its early high today, didn't break its early high on Friday, but it's holding up, forming some pretty strong support right at the 58 area. So this one is actually on long watch for a day trade tomorrow. TJX, depending on the market, of course. TE just goes on watch. Nice volume. It pushed, pretty high. That's a big candle. If you look back at all the candles on this stock, you really don't see one with this kind of upside range. So I'm not gonna chase it, but this one, whenever you see that, it's got to go on your watch list for a while after that. So TE just kind of lands on my watch list. This AKBA, don't know anything about this thing, but looks like it was a new issue, about a month ago, and then nice volume today. And look at it on an intraday basis. It actually got halted. That's why you have that gap there. Got halted, I think, because of the massive move it was making. So it got halted just because of that, I believe. So that, and then it flagged ever since then and just kind of chopped around. This one has to go on watch. If this thing were to trade in a narrow range for the first hour and then light up the new highs ticker, I'll bet you we could get a pretty nice pop. I keep thinking, I heard CNBC, somebody said like a $90 price target, something like that. That doesn't mean we're going to chase it, but let's keep our eyes on that one. Tomorrow could give a nice intraday sneaky entry if all things work out and it sets up well. Back to the daily chart here, GDP, very nice volume, very nice push. Had a day trade in this one today, but again, with that volume and that kind of move, you look at the chart, you don't see it anywhere else. Generally, the next day isn't the day to try to go and trade it again, but this should be on our watch list going forward after that kind of move. And actually, for some reason, I don't have a great one here based on the chart. ARWR is starting to get interesting. I mean, this back here was like the strongest stock on the planet. All right, this thing ran from a long base in November, right below $8, all the way to almost 28. Okay, and now you're starting to get that shape to the downside. And so this one, again, tomorrow might not be the day. I don't look at the chart and say, oh, it's got great support at XYZ, at a certain number, but this 3-day push, when you think how strong this thing was, I'm starting to become interested as a potential bounce play on this ARWR. So that just lands it on a chart, and we'll see if we can find an entry in it tomorrow. Again, with the market in the same direction as we're trying to trade. One last final note, I have created a new kind of, I don't want to say new style of trade, but a new way of trading. I've developed what I call a set and forget trade entry. Okay, and it's still a day trade. You guys, if you watch my videos, I'm a day trader, but over the weekend I created a page showing our members how to trade a set and forget, which just means we're trading them smaller and it's only on a certain setup that I'm looking for these. So I'm trying to at least call one a day, right? What I call a set and forget trade, which means I'm taking it here short, at a certain price. My stop's wider, and I'm taking it smaller. And I'm very clear at the numbers on those in chat. And then after that, the rule is you just set the stop and don't worry about it. And we're going to close it out right before the closing bell. Or if we get either that, or we're going to stop out. And so far, I've got 1 day under my belt as a back test, and it was basically a flat trade. I got 20 cents a share out of it. But so far, the first day of the set and forget kept me in a trade, and I'm looking forward to doing more of those going forward. All right, I got to get that, so I'll quit babbling. Talk to you guys later.